Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 2046. 3 Pitfalls That Make Us Feel Like We Are Failing Motherhood by Emma Scheib with ericalane.co. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ORD for another parenting episode, hosted and narrated by me, Greg Audino. Today's article, I think, is really all-encompassing when it comes to how we perceive our shortcomings as parents. Listen close, because this post is very grounding and can provide you with the self-talk that you need to be the best parent you can be, all while taking it a little easier on yourself. Let's jump in now as we optimize your life. 3 Pitfalls That Make Us Feel Like We're Failing Motherhood by Emma Scheib with ericalane.co. Making it to school just in time, I jumped out of the car to help my daughter with her bag and scooter. "Have a good day," I said, "and try and wear your full costume." It was book week and dress-up day. She had been chosen to be Princess Leia, so I'd spent my lunch break the previous day searching secondhand shops for floaty white dresses. I figured that and 2 buns over the ears would do the trick. But as I watched her scooter down the path, passing other kids wearing incredible costumes, one even had a cat in the hat on, I felt like a complete failure. The floaty dress idea hadn't really panned out, and although I'd managed to buy white leggings and cut the sleeves of a secondhand white top, the costume was not my best work, and she'd refused to let me put her hair in buns. It's not the first time I felt like a failure as a mom, and it definitely won't be the last. Feeling like a failure seems to be part of the job description as a mom. I feel like there are far too many yardsticks to measure ourselves against. We feel failure when our babies aren't sleeping through the night, when they aren't toilet trained at an appropriate age, and when sushi isn't their favorite snack. When they refuse to learn their spelling words, fight with their siblings, and even when they've been sitting in front of the television quietly for 2 hours so we can catch up on housework. The guilt of perceived failure can be never-ending. But it doesn't have to be. I believe we don't have to feel guilt or failure all the time. Perhaps the first step to relief is understanding why we feel this way. What's driving our feelings of failure? 3 pitfalls that make us feel like we're failing motherhood. Number 1, comparison. Comparison. It's like eating ice cream straight from the carton, in the dark. You know you shouldn't be doing it, but you just can't stop. And the comparison is often unconscious. We don't even realize we're doing it half the time. That morning, as I watched the other better costumes pass me by, I bitterly compared myself to the moms. They clearly had been working on the costumes for weeks. They'd probably even made the child cupcakes to match their costume. Heck, they'd probably even sewn the dress up from scratch. Quite simply, they had more time, talent, and care for dress-up days than me. That tirade of thoughts did nothing but serve my sense of failure. But when I really thought about it, I realized that I hadn't failed. Sure, the costume wasn't the greatest, but I tried my best. That's all I ask of my children, to try their best. We don't have to be perfect, I tell them. About time to take my own advice. Most importantly, I hadn't failed at the most important part, loving my child enough to try. When I got stuck in the muck of comparison that day, all I really needed to do was ask myself one simple question. Do I love my kids? If the answer is yes, that's all I need. And that's all that they need. Number 2, an unrealistic definition of success. Feelings of failure often flood us when our idea of what success is doesn't match our children's idea of success. I constantly feel like a failure at dinner time. I try my hardest to provide my kids with good, balanced, nutritious food. But to be honest with you, mealtimes are a huge struggle. And for some reason, my brain stamps a big success sign over an empty plate. But the truth is, many nights my 4-year-old is too tired to eat all her food. For her, eating all her protein and a few peas might look pretty darn successful. And when I really think about it, defining my success or failure as a mom on a clean plate is a pretty silly idea. It also places a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of a wee 4-year-old, too. That is not her burden to bear. Although we are raising children, we need to remember that we are also raising tiny humans who will be able to create their own definition of success. All I really need to do at the end of dinner, when I'm looking at half-eaten food, is ask one simple question. Do I love my kids? If the answer is yes, that's all I need, and that's all they need. And number 3, falsely high expectations of ourselves. Sometimes we just need to lay this imaginary yardstick down and forget about it, because it makes us weary. The yardstick expects far too much from us. We expect far too much of ourselves. My first taste of failure as a parent came in the form of breastfeeding issues with my first child. I couldn't breastfeed her. I've never felt so much failure in my life. In this attempt to succeed at this first measure up as a new mom, I got very sick, both physically and mentally. And it wasn't until I set down that yardstick and consented to try bottle feeding that I finally bonded with my baby. I desperately want to go back in time and visit myself as a brand new mom and whisper in her ear, "Do you love her? That's all she needs." Feelings of failure are inevitable as we nurture our kids into the world. I think I'll always feel it to some extent. But I'm refusing to get bogged down in the muck of those feelings anymore. I'm laying down all the yardsticks and following my heart. Do I love them? That's all they need. You just listened to the post titled 3 Pitfalls That Make Us Feel Like We're Failing Motherhood by Emma Scheib with ericalane.co. I always like to begin the year by clearing out my closet, but this year I'm also upgrading it with pieces that will last beyond the season from Quince. Quince creates timeless essentials that never go out of style, like 100% Mongolian cashmere crew neck sweaters from $59, 100% leather jackets, and fitted pants. And by partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. We're talking 50 to 80% savings. Plus, Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. My girlfriend and I are so happy with the rug that we got from Quince. They do offer home goods as well as clothes. As promised, it was definitely a great deal. It was one of many rugs they offer that have a really timeless look. And for me, you really can't put a price on items that are manufactured ethically. So, upgrade your closet with Quince. Go to quince.com/ORD for free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. That's QUINCE.com/ORD to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/ORD.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
And thanks so much to Emma for this great reminder for the parents out there today. You know, it's so easy to put unrealistic expectations on ourselves as parents. We're always trying to think about how we can be better and give our kids the best lives possible. So of course we are more at risk for judging ourselves and feeling less than when we come up short. But for as natural as this is, it's still hard to ground ourselves. And that is why I love today's post. Emma has described those 3 common pitfalls. And it's my hope that after listening today, when you do find yourself in these types of situations, you'll remember this post. That you'll remember hearing about how many parents are in the same boat as you, going through the same feelings, but ultimately trying their best, just like you are. And ideally, you'll start to see that the same is true in a variety of scenarios, extending well past what we heard about today. Almost any time we're putting ourselves down as parents, the cause of the self-judgment falls under one of the three categories we heard about today. So try to find those links and show yourselves forgiveness, remembering that you are not alone. And at the end of it all, you do love your kids, and that's what's most important. And with that, we are going to wrap up another episode of ORD, everyone. Thank you as always for tuning in today. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure your kids do too. Have a great Friday, and be sure to come back over the weekend, starting tomorrow in our Saturday show. That's where your optimal life awaits.